Hello again, I'm Mark Jensen. This is Physics Behind Fitness. Where we were when we stopped last time was talking about angular force tension. Angular force tension increases the wear on the joint and sets the joint up for injury either now or at a future time due to instability. An unstable joint is defined as a joint with improper muscular sequencing. We need to understand that when you work out or lift weights or just live life or stand up, you're using muscular tension to do that. When you use your tension, is it correctly developed or is it incorrectly developed? Let's get into a little bit about muscular sequencing. I'm going to draw a brain. This brain introduces synergistic energy through the nervous system into the spinal cord. This is a segment of spinal cord. This picture is for analogy purposes. Dr. Netter is one of the best artistic individuals for drawing out the human body, or the atlas of the human body. So nerve sheaths aren't necessarily changing from their shapes. So it's an analogy drawing. We have a spinal cord, and we have a group of muscles. Any joint in our body is surrounded by a complex of muscles. No one joint has one muscle. A lot of muscles work together to cause an action or a support requirement or a stabilization requirement. So let's just say these five, and I picked five for the simplicity of drawing. Anyway, we have a brain, we have a section of the spinal cord, we have a graph with two muscles and a bone. Let's call this complex of muscles ones that may surround the trochanter or the hip joint, just for an example. It could be any one, doesn't matter. As we load the hip or any joint in the body, we're going to sequence muscles in a certain way. As the nervous system energy goes down the spinal cord, I'll give you people watching the video a moment to think, which one of these nerve roots would you think would contract the muscle first? The answer is this one. This is the tightest muscle and the most known to the nervous system. The hole is made large so that we can have the analogy. The holes are standard by design of the human body. But the tightest muscle in the complex is already contracted, and a tight muscle is held by the nervous system in a contraction 24/7. If the improper muscle is sequenced first, then the muscle exceeds its standard contractile parameter. So this segment of nerve root goes to this muscle here, which is short and contracted. If we go by the largest hole, the tightest muscle, most known to the nervous system, easy for you to feel and use, and well practiced in general, then the last to contract would be, yes, the smallest one. And if we went continually down this picture of sizes, this looks like the number 2 size, 3, 4, and then 5. So each time we use this complex of muscles, we contract them in this order, no matter how you do the exercise. So this sequencing is the permanent program in your brain. Some of these sequencing programs are established when you're very young. We have 3 basic factors: lifestyle, genetics, and habits. Once this becomes the brain program, Generally, it never changes for the rest of your life. If the sequencing happens to be the engineered and correct way, well then that's great. However, the sequencing of individuals have deviated from standard or from design. If done correctly, the body is designed to not have pain and to not break down and to not have shoulder, back, or any other joint issues. Because generally today, there is a lack of understanding and an initial improper application of tension to the body, we end up with an unstable lumbar spine and pelvis, resulting in a center of gravity shift and deviating muscular sequencing. To certain degrees, some have a better and closer sequencing and some have a further sequencing. The most known first sequencer goes to the short muscle. The last sequencer goes to the long muscle. Because this muscle is not designed to sequence first, it's injured, full of adhesions, and short. Short by design. What does short mean? Short means it is not at the correct length. A muscle should return when retracted and let go from a contraction to its original designed length. If we make just another picture analogy for you, it's hard to draw a muscle. But if we did draw one that was healthy, and it was designed to be 10 inches, that's what it would look like. Origin and insertion to the bone. This muscle, sequencing first, exceeding its design, getting over inertia, and we'll go over inertia in a minute, now looks like this. It's permanently, until changed, only 5 inches long. This muscle is held in a contraction by the nervous system even when you're sleeping. When you stand up, when you're sitting in a chair, it's the same status. It's connected still at its insertion and origin point, but the tension it creates due to constant contraction is generally pulling on the skeleton the entire time. So that's why the bone here has migrated from center. This is an underactive, inadequate tension or deficit tension. This is an overactive and surplus tension muscle. So if you remember back from the first videos, we said there are surpluses and deficits within your formula, and the surplus here is generally always sequencing first and getting over inertia. What is inertia? Well, if you have a weight and you have it dangling and you want to start it moving, a weight in a fixed or stopped position is harder to get it moving than to keep it moving, and then harder to stop it than keep it moving. This is inertia. The designed muscle for the movement should contract first because its design is great enough in contractile parameter to handle the initial load of sequencing first. These are generally, as a rule, the primary movers. These other little things in our body are synergist muscle, like in the previous picture, the angular force muscles keeping the boat in the center of the river, not designed to move it up the river by moving up a few degrees. So angular force tension can be created by any muscle and do the job of a primary mover, but we pay a high price for that activity. They are not aware that they have this sequencing or any other sequencing. This is how they feel. It's been their whole life. They don't understand or feel different. It's just the way they feel. So when they do an exercise, they continually work this muscle, number one, the first sequencer, deviating the distance between the weakest and the late sequencer further and further. And even for those who are completely, entirely in condition and have been maybe on stage or they're a bodybuilder, by the time you work every single muscle, then you finally get even the smallest of whole muscles to look toned or in shape. It doesn't mean that the muscle is creating the contractile force correctly or as designed for the formula to be stable. The idea is if we do a fitness and health endeavor, it should pay us back for a lifetime of pain-free experience. So, what do we do about this program? This program is incorrect, and it's in the brain, and it's not changing. Obviously, we have a length and tension relationship problem. In this case, commonly you may hear that people call this a muscular imbalance. Clearly, the balance is wrong here, and the bone is off center. The question is, how do we solve this problem? In the world today, unlike 10 years ago, almost every gym you might find a rolling device. Rolling is now become popular, but their understanding of its purpose, when to do it, how to do it, what it means altogether, I haven't found it clear in anyone yet. So I'm going to begin to try and define that and make people understand it, and in the next video we'll go even further. Number one, to lengthen this muscle, this is massage therapy. A quality massage therapist is your friend. Number two, self-myofascial release. This is massage therapy to yourself. Once you learn this theory, you're limited only by your own creativity as what you use for myofascial release. Next, number three, static stretching. So, myofascial release, rolling or massaging, is a preparatory step for stretching. So the tissues have changed. When you break up adhesions, you're dealing with outer fascia. You're not dealing with the microscopic fibers that contract within the muscle. You're dealing with the fascia surrounding the muscle. And if the fascia surrounding the muscle is short, there's no way you're going to get a spindle to release within the muscle and have this branch out and get long again. You must create a different status of the tissue of the muscle. There are many, many other things for muscle release. You have acupuncture, needling, cupping, rolfing, vibration, heat, hot tubs, creams. The list is long. If you have enough money, you can spend all your money on that you want. These three items right here are the work. It'll get it done. In the connective tissue between the muscle and its insertion and origin is the Golgi tendon organ. The Golgi tendon organ meters muscular length. If there's no change in the tissue, you won't get the muscle to lengthen. It's important to be instructed on how to use and perform myofascial release. It's over the top important to learn how to stretch. We must make this muscle longer. It must get to 6, 7, and finally out to 10 inches long. If we just roll and stretch, that the world has been doing now, because when you get done you feel a little bit better, then you go out and operate your life again in normal lifestyle and or working out, and you go back and use the same nervous system program again, shocking the big hold muscle to the short, tight muscle, and bringing this one back again to 5 inches. So you never gain any significant ground by just rolling or stretching. You must grow this muscle. In the next video we'll go over how we're going to change the nervous system's muscular sequencing. Thank you very much for your time.